Jason Todd, the second Robin, is a complex figure in my life. He started out as a troubled kid, angry and impulsive, but with a raw talent for crime fighting. I saw something in him, something that reminded me of myself when I was younger, and I took him on as my protege. But our relationship was always rocky. Jason was impetuous and prone to taking risks, often putting himself in danger unnecessarily, and he had a deep anger inside him, a rage that sometimes boiled over into violence. I tried to teach him control, to help him channel his emotions into something constructive, but it was always a struggle, and there were times when I wondered if I was doing more harm than good by keeping him around. And then, of course, there was the incident with the Joker. Jason had always been reckless, but when the Joker kidnapped him and beat him to death after that day, I was broken. I became even more volatile, even more angry, and I started to lash out at those around me. And then, one day, he came back. And when I learned that he had returned, as the vigilante known as the Red Hood, a murder-hungry vigilante, I didn't know what to think. On one hand, I was relieved to know that he was still alive. On the other hand, I was furious that he had taken on this new persona, one that was so clearly focused on revenge and violence. I tried to help him, to support him as he struggled with his trauma, but it was clear that something had changed in him. He had become a different person, someone consumed by his own anger and bitterness. But over time, I've come to understand Jason a little better. I've come to see that his rage, his pain, is not just the result of his own experiences, but of the world that we live in. A world that is often cruel and unjust, where the innocent suffer and the guilty go free. And in some ways, I've come to admire Jason's willingness to fight for what he believes in, even if I don't always agree with his methods. But at the same time, I worry about him. I worry that his anger will consume him, that he will become a force for destruction rather than justice. And I worry that no matter how hard I try, I will never be able to truly understand him. So when I think about Jason, I feel a mix of emotions. There is anger and frustration and regret, but there is also a deep sense of compassion, a recognition that he is a product of his environment and that he is struggling with demons that are all too real. I don't know what the future holds for Jason. I don't know if we will ever truly be able to reconcile our differences, or if he will continue to walk his own path, separate from mine. But I do know that no matter what happens, I will always care about him. He was once my Robin, and even if he has since become something else, he will always be a part of my life.